Busy week again this week, Senator, especially in regards to learning a little more of what the governor has in mind for the coming year.
Certainly was, Dean. Help celebrate somebody that I think has done a very, very good job for the state, both the rural part as well as urban part. I don't think there's any part of the state that people can truly say that governor did any harm to and only helped. So this week was the State of the State address, which outlines his priorities for ongoing legislative session. And the vast majority of those that he highlighted this year focused on funding. Myself being on the appropriations process, I tried to listen with extra large ears at what some of the proposals were coming from the governor's office. And I think we'll talk about education funding, both K through 12 as higher ed first. One of the first things that does make a difference in my district all over the schools. I think I have 76 school districts in my 12th district. And one of the things a couple years ago, the governor put forth a plan to increase base salary for teachers to $38,000. The plan's in the budget this year to increase that for $40,000. With that, there's going to need to be a little bit of local support in it, what's proposed at this time. But I think that's a real positive thing with trouble we're having getting educators in. And also fully funding the K through 12 foundation formula. And the people that deal in this area in the 12th district realize that that funding's been flat for a while. The way the figures are made, it stayed flat. This year, the formula has asked for a $120.6 million increase when they did the math this year. And the governor has put forth in his budget fully funding that. And that would bring our K through 12 foundation formula to $3.7 billion, which of course, would be a record in the state. He's also included fully funding the transportation formula, and those are lower dollars, but up in the 12th district, those are very important dollars because many of our schools only see growth in the budget from the transportation the way the law is, so that's a $14 million increase. There are also investments being made to expand pre-kindergarten programs, an investment of $52 million to boost child care subsidy rates to help address the child care crisis. Listening to those, I'm not dug into the weeds yet, but all those things look very positive, I think, for the district, and hopefully we have plenty of money in the budget to be able to take care of those. I did want to hit on higher ed a little bit. Certainly, there's two colleges that touch my district, four-year colleges, and also a very active two-year community college, and higher education will receive a 3% increase on their core, as well as there's other workforce funding available for those colleges for projects that they've asked about. And it looks like, from what I've heard so far, that the governor funded those projects. When we look at infrastructure investment, there's $1.7 billion investment to close the broadband digital divide over the next 5 years. So the people that are messing with that are really studying that issue. They believe we're going to be pretty close to having everybody connected in 5 years, and I'm certain where I represent, there'll be somebody out there not done in 5 years, but hopefully we're getting very, very close. And again, for my district, it's so important, this low-volume road, the money's going to low-volume roads that are coming out of general revenue, out of our regular income tax money and our sales tax money. There's $93 million again in the budget for that. So that's been being $193 million. That's making, I believe, a tremendous difference. It may not have affected everybody listening to me, the road in front of your house, but as somebody that drives around the 12th district all the time, I'm driving on much better roads than what I started driving on about 2 years ago when I started this process. So I look forward to discussing these priorities with the governor and his staff during the next few months in the appropriation hearings and in the office. So that was a great thing. The next thing that I really would like to take a chance to highlight was on Thursday, January 25th, the Committee on Local Government and Elections held a hearing on SB 900 that I sponsored that could have a significant impact on the Davies-DeKalb Regional Jail District. SB 900 would facilitate the completion of a new regional jail facility that would house prisoners for Davies, DeKalb counties and more if those counties would vote to join the district. The current facility is outdated, too small, and poses risk to both the inmates and staff at this facility. I believe that this legislation can not only impact the Davies-DeKalb Regional Jail District, but also other counties who are experiencing similar problems. This doesn't guarantee what's going to happen, but it's an important part of the puzzle that we need to get past to make it possible to be able to work on that jail. And I was happy to be able to get that done, and I do hope that we can get that finished this year so the people managing that jail, sitting on that board, can start trying to make further plans to be able to replace and improve that facility. Also, earlier this week, and I listened in on phone to a Board of Healing Arts meeting on Sunday evening that began the process, or what I believe to be the corrective action, approving collaborative practice agreements between physicians and advanced practice registered nurses, most of us call them APRNs, to not consider any kind of mileage restriction. So there's no longer a geographic restriction. So I believe after that vote, I don't believe it will come back up in front of the board again. The Board of Healing Arts passed the motion to get rid of the geographic proximity rule by a vote of 7-1. And I hope that we're going a step in the right direction to help with healthcare gap between rural and urban communities. And that is a major rural problem, and a major urban core problem is getting these providers, and it's going to help with both of those things. I'm hoping that we continue to address the needs of rural healthcare in this legislative session.